Ladies and gentlemen, this is your tactician, G Coalition Brother Numbered 17, back in the cut, still fresh and clean, ready to discuss a little bit of pro wrestling for about a few minutes. Yeah, it's going to be a few minutes this time. Probably not 5 or 10, probably 20. I don't know, depending on how long I'm going to do this. But I'm going to try to be a lot more concise with this than I was with the last video. And the one before that. I'm going to see if I can do short format. Let's go. So we got a lot of people right now. We're headed towards the Elimination Chamber tonight in Montreal. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. That's going to be, if not the main event, then the most attention-getting match for sure, with the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Title on the line. And a lot of people are continuing to chirp with this narrative that Sami Zayn needs to become the Universal Champion right now. Here's the problem with this whole thing. If you're counting on that pop that Sami got in Montreal last night on SmackDown and is about to get tonight, and say that's the reason he needs to win. First off, it's his hometown. It's Montreal. We already know he's going to get that massive pop, especially with the work that he's been doing. So let's not act like Montreal means Sami needs the title. Nah, we ain't even playing that game. Secondly, you're also ignoring the fact that that Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes just had the face-to-face confrontation on Monday Night Raw, where Sami's over here like, can I really do this? Can I really do this? And Cody's like, yeah, I believe you can do this. I said that last week. I meant it when I said it. But why are you making this about what I think? This has to be about what you think deep down, what you believe, bro. Sami's like, I don't know. Well, he's like, can I beat Roman Reigns? Can I walk out with the title? Am I WrestleMania main event caliber? Yes, I am. But do I think I'm going to win in Montreal? I don't know. And number one, right there, that's the fucking problem. You shouldn't be talking as a character about whether you know you're going to win. No victory is ever guaranteed. Why in the world is Sami Zayn looking to Cody Rhodes to tell him that there's a guaranteed victory here? From a storytelling standpoint, you already know Sami's already lost just from that alone. You already know. But if we don't want to talk about Sami's already lost, I'm not even just talking about they're clearly priming for him to lose the match. I'm also talking about he lost the 100% undisputed approval record he had with the fans. Because you see, if you caught a little whiff of a little something in that promo segment when Cody Rhodes was basically encouraging Sami and saying, you got what it takes, you can do this, do you believe, though? Yeah, that crowd chanting, you can do it. But there was a small little sampling of that audience. I wouldn't say it was 50-50, but more like 80-20, 85-15. But there was still a little bit of that audience that was actually vocal enough about their lack of faith in Sami's having any type of chance to actually win that they actually chanted, no, you can't. So you actually got a John Cena style mix chant, not 50-50 the way it usually is for Cena. Usually was for Cena, but more like 85-15, but it was still there nonetheless. You can do it. No, he can't. You can do it. No, he can't. That was the first inkling of any negative reaction by the live audience towards either Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes, and it went to Sami Zayn. That's gotta be, y'all gotta think about that factor right there. Aside from the fact that Cody is already the more presentable star of the two, already the guy who looks and carries himself and has the poise of a guy who can lead and carry a company to the point where he's the whole reason AEW got a freaking TV deal in the first place. Him and the guy that was the guy within Turner who was in close with Tony Khan, as well as the fact that they recognized the Rhodes name. But we're not going to get too far into those details. The point is, the first sign of a negative reaction even a slightly negative reaction involving either one of those two actually being there, not Roman, you talking about one to deflect from the other, went to Sami. That alone disqualifies the idea that if fans are forced or asked to choose between Cody or Sami, it's a guarantee that they're going to turn on Cody and side with Sami. No, it's not. Depending on the story, they can easily side with Cody, especially considering the fact that, once again, I'm going to say this again, this is not the IWC Smart fan base that's attending these shows. This is the WWE live television audience that's attending these shows now on a much higher clip proportionally compared to how it was before COVID. So those things in mind, I gotta say it point blank. You run with Cody Rhodes. Sami Zayn, and let's not forget that Sami Zayn, he still has a freaking place. He still has a place in this storyline. Even when he loses this match to Roman Reigns, I 100% believe he's gonna lose. If Sami wins the title here in Montreal, I'm going to come back and I'm going to eat crow, okay? I'll come back and I'll eat crow. I still won't think it is the best long-term decision, but I will come back and I'll eat crow and I'll be like, okay, Sami's got the title. Let's see how he does with this. All right, I will be very congratulatory. I'm not going to hate on this dude. I'm not going to pull some bullshit where I'm saying, oh my fucking God, how could WWE sabotage Cody Rhodes to give Stevie McFly the WWE title the same way that these Sammy marks are over here crying and calling Cody Stardust to try to undermine him, proving that they have the dark heart in this whole story and they are the ones who ultimately are going to be half the reason that Sami, if WWE does the wrong thing, Sami will be the one to lose fans because of these people. But, okay, that's as much as I can go about that part of the whole deal, the whole fan base aspect. Let's actually look at the storyline scenarios and how it would affect every single character involved, depending on the solutions or the resolutions that WWE goes with in this scenario involving Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Oh yes, and the undisputed WWE Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Let's not forget that those are a fucking thing. Let's not forget that the Usos are in the middle of the longest reigning tag team title run in WWE history. Quite frankly, in my opinion, establishing themselves as the greatest tag team in WWE history. The fact that they could have that long reign and be a part of this. Let's not forget that factor. Let's not forget that. You got a bunch of different moving parts in this thing. It's not just about wanting Sami to get that golden pop, wanting Sami to get that golden, wanting whoever you want to get, wanting Sami or Cody to get the gold, as a matter of fact. Look, they're all players these are all players in this. Let's take a look at each and every single one of the scenarios that has been presented in front of us, either by WWE themselves or by the IWC's fantasy booking, and see how every single character squares out in this situation. First off, I'm going to just go straight to the jugular. The triple threat scenario. The scenario where Roman Reigns beats Sami Zayn by hook or by most likely by crook, by some shenanigans involving either Solo or Heyman or somebody in the bloodline interfering, or most likely Jey Uso betraying Sami Zayn. Because Jimmy's not going to be there because he can't be in Canada. We go with that scenario. How does every single character play out in this? Well, first off, in response to being screwed over, Sami Zayn would invoke the fact that he got screwed, that he didn't get beat fair and square, that he didn't get beat clean, and he would special plead with both Adam Pearce and Cody Rhodes and the WWE fans to say that he deserves to be in a triple threat match. Here's the problem. Fans in the arena would go with it at first. And Adam Pearce, let's say he's forced to give in to the idea because of that, and the triple threat match is made. Guess what happens? Roman Reigns gets to now come out there and cut a promo saying that he knew all along that Sami Zayn was selfish and greedy and was doing nothing but using the family for his own gain, and has now finagled his way into the main event of WrestleMania without earning his spot with any kind of significant victory. At that point, once that's been put out there, well, number one, you put that out there, and then you have him and Cody and Roman all staying in the same ring together. Cody is the guy who the WWE television audience recognizes as having earned his way into that match. The moment Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes come to blows, you have officially set the stage for dividing the fan base. And if you think it's a guarantee that the fans would 100% side with Sami and turn against Cody, need I remind you, Sami got the negative reaction, the first negative reaction of the two in any... No, I'm not going to say the first full. Sami got the first inkling of any negative reaction out of those two since Cody was the number one contender and Sami left the bloodline. When Cody was trying to encourage Sami that he can beat Roman. So if you think that if the two are fighting against each other instead of both focusing on Roman because Sami finagled his way into Cody's title match, that the fans are not going to turn against Sami, that they're all going to side with him against Cody, you out your damn minds. So Sami Zayn is already in a position where his character, his integrity is undermined, and the fan base starts turning on him. Now, make no mistake about it, there's going to be fans who also turn against Cody also because obviously there's going to be a lot of fans who still love Sami. But number one, I believe more people turn against Sami and stay side with Cody than the other way around. And number two, they're both focused on fighting against each other. Meanwhile, the quote-unquote fact that Sami manipulated the family to get his title shot means that Roman is easily able to get the entire bloodline back on code, back on the same page, back together as one, understanding that they were manipulated by this guy. So, oh yeah, and what else happens when you put a triple threat match in place? Disqualifications are no longer a thing. So what that means is that the Usos and Solo Sikoa, who, because he's their brother, when I talk about all three of them in the same breath, I usually call them all three Uso brothers, can legally jump in the ring, interfere, beat the piss out of Cody and Sami while they're fighting each other, and the referee cannot do anything about it. It's not actually a triple threat match. It's a 4-on-2 handicap match. 4-on-3 if you factor in Kevin Owens coming in and interfering after he's made the save. But number one, not enough emphasis is going to be put on Kevin Owens having Sami's back to even justify him even coming anywhere close to Supermaning that whole team by himself. He's not going to take out all three Uso brothers. Solo Sikoa alone is going to be enough trouble for him that one super kick from Jey or Jimmy ends up with him being fucking massacred again, just like at the Royal Rumble. So you're talking about a 4-on-3 situation with the bloodline against a very divided front. A 4-on-2, 4-on-3 at best. Under no circumstances can you guarantee... Actually, no. Not even can you guarantee... Under no circumstances can you not guarantee that Roman Reigns keeps the title for yet another 2 years. Because the best opportunity to establish the best ready-made star that can take over for Roman Reigns, be the first to pin him in over 3 years, and then carry the company forward for the next 3 years, you've just completely shot that dead. So now you got to pray that either Braun Breaker overcomes the current wave of boo birds, or that Nick Aldis comes in and he catches a house of fire, or that somebody else, by some stroke of miracle, ends up catching the same kind of flame that Sami caught during this storyline. And you're basically begging for lightning in a bottle, or very limited returns. Roman Reigns keeps the title for another 2 to 3 years until they can do something else. And once again, just like with Brock Lesnar, because Vince insisted on babyface Roman above all else, you lose the opportunity to dethrone the final boss with a new leader of the company that will be there full time and be the rising tide that lifts all boats for the full-time roster. That's the big long-term consideration that WWE has in place. That's why Cody Rhodes is the chosen one at the moment. And the moment you fucking cut that off, the moment you ruin that, bruh, it's game over. The moment you ruin that, the moment you destroy that, now you got to go back to the drawing board, because they ain't gonna fail with Roman the way that they failed with Brock. They're hell-bent on making sure that this shit actually works. But the point is, you go with a triple threat. The whole scenario is there. You divide the fan base. You unite the bloodline. You have Cody and Sami fight each other more often than they fight the bloodline, and you allow the bloodline to legally interfere. Roman fucking keeps the strap. He smashes, stacks, and pins Cody and Sami just like he did to Daniel Bryan. So that's the triple threat option. Get that out the window. Kill that one. That's option one. Here's option two. Well, here's option two. Option two, Sami wins in Montreal. So here's the fucking problem with that. Sami wins in Montreal, but then somehow this becomes finagled into, this becomes finagled into some type of fucking legal strategy by Paul Heyman to where Roman ends up keeping one of the titles so that Cody can still fight him at WrestleMania. Number one, you might as well just have Cody fight Sami at WrestleMania, which is another option. But number two, the problem with both of those forks in that road is that the guy who pinned Roman Reigns for the first time in over 3 years, let's not forget, this is the big thing. This is not just the title. This is not just about the titles. This is about being the first person to actively pin or submit Roman Reigns in the middle of a WWE ring in over 3 years' time. Since he became the tribal chief and came and reclaimed the titles, both the Universal title and eventually the WWE World Heavyweight title. This is about that too. Okay? It's about being the first person to beat Roman effectively. The first to beat the tribal chief. You're going to give that to Sami Zayn, and then a month later, he's not the guy closing out WrestleMania with his head held high, hoisting up the belts in victory. Then what the fuck did you do it for? What did you do it for? What did you do it for? Why would you give that to him at this time? So that's already a fail. Option number 3. Sami loses by hook or by crook, most likely by crook, in order to engineer a scenario like this. Still finagles his way into a world title shot, but instead of it being a triple threat match, it becomes a deal where Roman fights either Sami or Cody on night 1, with Sami being for the Universal title, and then he fights the other on night 2, with Cody being for the WWE World title. There's a huge problem with this scenario also, because the obvious intent or the obvious idea is going to be for both of them to beat Roman Reigns. That's the only otherwise, yeah, the option is obviously both of them the idea is y'all want them to both get this title shot because y'all both want them to both get this title. Y'all want them to both beat Roman Reigns. The problem is the person who beats Roman Reigns to close out night 1 is the one who beat Roman Reigns and pinned the tribal chief for the first time ever, who beat Roman Reigns for the first time in over 3 years. You're that guy. But the guy who wins night 2 is the one who's considered the overall main event of WrestleMania, and the guy who closes out the main event of WrestleMania holding a championship up in the air and getting all the fireworks. You've literally split the achievement between both guys, and now neither one of them is poised to be the leader of the company. Even if you think Sami is better in that position because of how popular he is currently and how he's able to get himself organically over by being the heartfelt babyface character. Even if you put it under even if you believe that he's not going to undermine that character, you're splitting the achievement between the two, and you're cheapening the value of the victory over Roman in the first place. You can't do that. That fails. Oh, and by the way, the other problem with all of these scenarios, what spotlight do Kevin Owens or the Usos get in any of this? The Usos, in the triple threat scenario, the Usos are just, once again, the lackeys who help Roman win matches. Kevin Owens is either nowhere to be found, or he gets completely stomped trying to Superman that hoe. Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes are both the losers, both of the title match and of their fan base. And Roman Reigns is still the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. In the Sami wins Montreal scenario, yeah, okay. Like I said, in the Sami wins Montreal scenario, Sami beat Roman for the first time in 3 years, but he's not the one closing WrestleMania with the titles, with both titles. He's either only got one of them so that Roman can job to Cody in the other one, or he loses the titles altogether because Cody beat him a month later? That's already a fail. Roman's position is entirely undermined. The entire purpose of Roman's position is undermined. And once again, Kevin Owens and the Usos are treated as non-factors. In the WrestleMania split scenario, we're revisiting the exact same issue. Except this time the roles might be split between Sami and Cody. Except we don't know who's... Regardless of whether you go with Sami or Cody for night 1 or night 2, the scenario's still the same. Guy that beat Roman isn't... The first guy to beat the tribal chief isn't the guy closing out WrestleMania. You split the achievement. Neither of them is the leader of the company. And once again, Kevin Owens and the Usos, their long storied role in this is chopped liver. Now let's go to the ideal scenario in which, no, Sami Zayn does not walk out with a World Heavyweight title at the end of this. Cody Rhodes is the guy who beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for both titles. Sami Zayn does not finagle his way into a WrestleMania title match against Roman Reigns. However, actually, let's go right to the start of what the ideal scenario is. What I'm actually thinking is most likely to happen tonight. What Pro Wrestling Bits called to happen tonight. Shout out to Big Nasty Alfred Konoa, by the way. Let's go to that one. Let's go to that scenario. Sami Zayn walks into Montreal as the hometown hero, getting the pop of the year. And he gets absolutely destroyed by Roman Reigns. If Jey Uso comes out and he gets involved, it's to save Sami Zayn, only to inevitably betray him and complete the destruction. Either to lead to Roman pinning Sami, or after he's pinned him. And then Solo comes out, and he commences to 3-on-1, because Jimmy's not going to be there because he can't be in Canada. He proceeds to completely stomp the shit out of Sami Zayn the same way that the Usos and Solo did Kevin Owens. And then Kevin Owens' music hits, and he makes the save. And either he actually makes the save because they were surprised to see him, and maybe he's got a steel chair in his hand so he can actually Superman that hoe with that situation, or He fails to make the save, and he's about to get his ass kicked too. And then Cody Rhodes comes out, and he actually makes the save. Guarantee you, in that scenario, the fans still love Sami Zayn. They despise Roman Reigns. They despise Jey Uso for betraying Sami Zayn. They despise the entire bloodline. And Kevin Owens and or Cody Rhodes will all get heroes welcomes in this scenario. You then set the table for Sami and Kevin to reconcile their issues. For Sami to have kind of a heart-to-heart with Jey about how he really did believe in the bloodline and he believed in Jey Uso as a man, and Jey has disappointed him and betrayed him, and either take it as a tone of vengeance or as a tone of, if it takes taking those titles away from you to slap some sense into you and make you finally realize that you shouldn't be kissing up to Roman's ass anymore, so be it. And actually, I believe that whichever position they take, Sami and Kevin would be united on it, because if we remember in the very beginnings of this storyline, Kevin Owens was one of the Bloodline's first rivals, was one of Roman and Jey's first enemies. And it all started when Kevin made a remark to Jey about how Jey shouldn't be forced to do Roman's errands or some shit like that. And Jey was trying to just kind of take it as a joke, but Roman forced him to be like, if he's disrespecting you, he's disrespecting the family. If he's disrespecting the family, he's disrespecting me. So it all started with Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns. Let's remember that. So whether they take the tact of vengeance or the tact of slapping sense into Jey Uso once and for all, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will be united on that. And they'll also be united on the idea that, look, we're best friends. We've been running all over this world together, but we haven't been tag team champions since we came to WWE. Hell, if you take the whole joking idea that El Generico and Sami Zayn are two completely different people because they are different, because everybody has been maintaining that they're different characters, here's where you can go with this. They can straight up say that Sami and Kevin have never been tag team champions together. Run with that. Run with that. The two best friends who were on the opposite ends of this bloodline struggle because one of them was like, had completely lost sight of what he thought was right, and so he sought acceptance from the bloodline, while the other one is like, nah, fuck these guys, and fuck this whole Roman agenda bullshit. Not even talking about the old Roman agenda when Vince McMahon was trying to force everybody to love the big dog, but the actual in kayfabe tribal chief Roman agenda. Fuck this Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and what he's doing can kick rocks as far as I'm concerned. Jey Uso, you shouldn't be carrying his bags. That was Kevin Owens' position at the beginning of this storyline, and that's Sami Zayn's position now. Let them both unite behind that. And behind the idea of becoming tag team champions together for the first time ever. I guarantee you, fans will recognize this, and they will cheer for Sami, and they will cheer for Kevin, because let's not even forget that Kevin Owens, he's pretty damn good at getting pops his damn self. Remember that explosive promo that he and Drew McIntyre shared? Yeah. So Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will both be massively over. And you have the story, and you have plenty of storyline motivation from both vengeance and slapping sense into Jey Uso for people to want Sami and Kevin to beat the Usos for the tag team championships. And you know what? Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, that whole thing, I get it, but that's not going to catch nearly as much fire as this. So you easily have your main event for night one of WrestleMania, the first ever tag team main event of any night of WrestleMania in history. With Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the best friends from Montreal, taking on the Usos to end the longest reigning tag team title run in WWE history in an emotionally charged encounter that's about a lot more than those tag team titles, but is fundamentally about the fate of the bloodline before we even get to Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at the end of the day for the WWE Universal Heavyweight titles. You create that scenario. You not only have them united with each other, you also have them united with Cody, because Cody is trying to beat Roman for the belts, and the bloodline are the people that are going to stand in the way. Cody himself has already acknowledged that because of Sami, the bloodline has cracks in its foundation now. If they patch up enough to get Jey to betray Sami, that still doesn't end the fact that this foundation has been cracked. So they're going to all band together. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes. They're going to all band together in this 1 month between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania. And that is going to that's going to be a hell of a faction war heading into the show of shows. You already know that if Sami and Kevin and Cody are all united against the bloodline in this story, their fans will also all be united against the bloodline in this story. The baby faces will be 100% cheered and the heels will be 100% booed, because everybody in this story did exactly what they were supposed to do to the amplified, stealing this from BC because this is where it's true, to the amplified to the umpteenth, 110th degree. This is what you want. This is how this ends. This is how you end the bloodline. This is how you end the tribal chief. And this is how you knock Roman Reigns permanently into part-time status so he can pursue Hollywood or do whatever the hell else he wants to do. This is how you get it done. And this is how you get it done the right way. And you pay it off at WrestleMania with Sami and Kevin beating the Usos, ending their reign to end night 1. And then Cody beating Roman, in part because Sami and Kevin would probably help to fend off Jimmy and Solo, and also in part because Jey Uso would choose not to interfere on Roman's behalf anymore. You run with that and you have Cody win. And just like that, now look at the payoff for everybody involved. Roman Reigns gets to be the respected part-timer. Gets to be the all-respected part-timer. Cody Rhodes gets to be the leader of the company for the next 3 years going on forward. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens get to carry their heartwarming story and potentially become the leaders of the tag team division. Not even potentially. They just beat the Usos. They just dethroned the Usos in the first ever tag team main event in order to end the longest tag team run of all time. They are the leaders of the tag team division at that point. So and also they ended the bloodline. So by proxy, they're also like right there in the upper echelon of the guys leading the company, and they're the ones holding the tag team titles. Again, just like Cody with the company overall, Sami and Kevin with the tag team division can be the rising tide that lifts all boats. And that's not to say of what we can do with all of Rikishi's sons. Main Event Jey Uso can ascend from this. If Roman Reigns is no longer a full-time player and you're no longer following his orders, Main Event Jey Uso can now ascend from this and become a big player. We talk about Jimmy Uso. Is he going to be left in the dust? I severely doubt it, because now he gets to be the big brother mentor in a tag team with his little brother Solo. And let's see what we do with that. There's massive character potential for everybody involved with this. And I don't even know. You literally just set all these guys up to still be interesting at the end of this, to continue to be successful at the end of this. How do we blow that up? How do we interrupt that? How do we destroy that? By giving in to short-sighted, selfish ambitions. Because the IWC, which once again, I have to stress this, has proven to be unreliable in their track record on these things. All I need to do is just say, look what happened to Edge in 2021 and how Daniel Bryan was absolutely destroyed by being forcibly inserted into this shit. And I point this out I point this out in comment sections of various videos. Nobody wants to answer for it, except for one guy who I straight up called him and said, "You sound like who." I straight up said, "Look, bro, you sound like you supported Daniel Bryan ruining Edge's match last year." And he said, "Yeah, he did." And he said, "Yeah, I do support it because it was a great match." Okay, you know what? More power to you. That's your opinion. You supported Daniel Bryan ruining Edge's match. I'm not even gonna say your fucking name. But I know your opinion. You supported Daniel Bryan ruining Edge's match because you thought that what happened in the end was still a great match. More power to you. Congratulations. You got the banger you wanted. But what happened story-wise? What happened to all the characters? Edge became bitter and ended up creating the Judgment Day. I don't know your opinion on the Judgment Day as far as how they do, as far as whether you like them or not, as far as part of the product. But in terms of the kayfabe in universe, there is much evil and betrayal and havoc created by the Judgment Day, which again, result of Edge's bitterness. Daniel Bryan ended up getting beaten out of the company by Roman Reigns, going to AEW and becoming absolutely mid, to the point where right now he's the #1 contender for Maxwell Jacob Friedman's AEW World Title, but you wouldn't know it based on how much people talk about him, which they don't. So IWC already has a proven track record of being unreliable when they insist the WWE has to jettison its plans, has to throw away its Royal Rumble winners in order to help them win at WrestleMania. You've become unreliable now. You're no longer the audience. You're no longer the guys filling up the stands. So your word is unreliable. It's the television audience that has to speak. And the television audience says, we love both Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. So why can't we create a scenario? And as a matter of fact, we like Kevin Owens too. So why can't we create a scenario where all three of them get their payoff at the end? And the Usos get to actually have a place to go as characters moving forward, as a way of thanking them for their progress in the story. Why can't we do that? No. Why can't we do that? That's the wrong question. The question is, can we do that? The answer is yes. The question is that where current WWE looks to be currently going with this? The answer is yes. The question is, do we let them cook and enjoy the food? Or do we try to hijack the recipe to fit myopic demands? The answer is yes to the first, no to the second. We'll see what WWE actually does, but I strongly believe the best option is going to be, hell, not just me, myself, Millennial Smark, Mongo Slade, Pro Wrestling Bits. I keep on going back to this track where it's the black guys who see this shit, and none of the characters involved in this are black either, so it's not like I'm coming at it from a racial lens, but it's the free-thinking black guys who see through this and who are saying straight up, nah, bruh, we see what WWE's cooking here. They're about to cook something that's going to benefit all these characters, not just your selfish desire to see Sami at the top. Let them fucking cook on this, bro. Let them cook on this. And see how much better it is for everybody involved. That's all I got, y'all. Stay gold. See you after the chamber. Oh yeah, one last thing. I actually just picked up on the fact that Carmella's theme is actually the Def Rebel female version of Eazy-E's Boys in the Hood. Still don't mean she's winning the chamber though. That's going to Asuka. Peace.